What skills can bank robbers bring to micro-private equity? Introduction: when the getaway car meets the cash flow forecast. On the face of it, bank robbers and micro-private equity seem to belong in entirely separate galaxies of human endeavor. One operates on the wrong side of the vault door, the other on the supposedly legitimate side of the balance sheet. One wears a balaclava, the other a Barbour jacket. Yet beneath the surface, there's something oddly familiar about both worlds. Each involves risk, reward, nerve, and a degree of calculation that borders on artistry. The central question, what skills can bank robbers bring to micro-private equity, is, of course, a playful provocation. It invites us to see parallels between two species of operator, the traditional criminal entrepreneur and the modern small-scale investor who buys, builds, and sells businesses with borrowed or bootstrapped cash. This essay explores that mischievous overlap. It won't argue that micro-private equity firms should start recruiting ex-convicts to manage their portfolios, tempting though that might be from an HR novelty perspective. Instead, it will show, through metaphor, analogy, and the occasional cheeky grin, that the mindset and skills of a successful, fictional, bank robber overlap surprisingly well with the qualities that make a sharp, nimble micro-private equity investor thrive. 1. The heist as strategy, planning and due diligence. Let's start with the cornerstone of both trades, planning. Contrary to popular myth, most successful bank robberies are not impulsive affairs. They involve reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, and a rigorous understanding of how the system works. The great heist films, from Heat to The Italian Job, aren't about smashing windows, they are about strategy, logistics, and timing. Similarly, in micro-private equity, MPE, success is built on planning. A good operator doesn't simply buy a business because it looks cheap. They perform due diligence, examining cash flow, customer concentration, operational choke points, and future scalability. They look for the weak spots and opportunities, the equivalent of spotting where the CCTV blind spots fall or which security guard is perpetually distracted by the crossword. The robber's skill lies in understanding the system so well that they can predict its responses. They know how long the silent alarm takes to trigger, what time the cash truck arrives, and which teller is new on shift. The micro-private equity investor, likewise, must know how the business ecosystem operates. They learn when sellers are desperate, end of the tax year, post-pandemic fatigue, which industries are undercapitalized, and where the silent alarms of bad debt or looming regulation might lurk. The best robber leaves nothing to chance. Neither does the best MPE investor. 2. Team composition, the crew and the cap table. No good heist is performed solo. Every caper needs a crew, the driver, the hacker, the safecracker, and the inside man, or woman. Each has a defined role, and each must trust the others implicitly. One loose cannon and the whole thing unravels faster than a dodgy merger. Likewise, micro-private equity thrives on teamwork. The investor might be the ringleader, but the supporting cast, the accountants, the lawyers, the operational managers, the digital marketers, are essential. The investor's cap table, ownership structure, is their crew manifest. Bank robbers know that every person must play to their strengths. You don't let the getaway driver fiddle with the security code, just as you wouldn't let your tax advisor redesign your website. Effective micro-pay operators have this same respect for skill boundaries. They build tight, efficient teams where everyone knows the plan and sticks to it. And when something goes wrong, as it inevitably will, they understand chain of command. In the world of the heist, chaos leads to capture. In MPE, chaos leads to value destruction. Both demand discipline under pressure. 3. Timing and opportunity, the art of the window. Timing is everything. In the cinematic bank job, there's always a brief window where the stars align. The cash delivery has just arrived, the police are elsewhere, and the traffic lights are mercifully green. Miss that window, and you might as well go home. In micro private equity, timing defines success just as sharply. The best deals are often struck in small, temporary windows. A retiring founder wants out before the year ends, a local competitor collapses, an overlooked business hits an inflection point in e-commerce potential. Bank robbers learn to read opportunity in the smallest details, a delivery schedule, a security rota, a fleeting distraction. The MPE investor learns to sense similar patterns in data, markets, and psychology. Both rely on what can only be described as opportunistic timing, a willingness to act decisively when everyone else hesitates. And in both cases, hesitation is fatal. 4. Risk appetite, calm hands under fire. There's no getting around it, bank robbers are comfortable with risk. They may not like it, but they operate within it as naturally as a diver in deep water. Adrenaline is part of the job description. Micro private equity, though outwardly polite and conducted over lattes rather than latex gloves, is likewise steeped in risk. The businesses being bought are often small, underperforming, or misunderstood. There's no corporate safety net, no investment bank underwriting the downside. Deals are funded through personal capital, friends, or clever financing. The risk tolerance required is, frankly, enormous. A robber's calm under pressure, the ability to make decisions with police sirens wailing, has its equivalent in the micro-pay world. There will always be moments when payroll is due, cash flow has dried up, and the buyer for the exit deal suddenly goes cold. The successful MPE operator keeps their head, recalculates, and acts with composure. Where the robber has their plan B getaway route, the investor has contingency capital and a pivot strategy. Both are exercises in composure when things start to wobble. 5. Psychological acumen, reading people, controlling nerves. Any good robber is, in essence, a psychologist. They must read guards, cashiers, and accomplices. They can sense hesitation, bluff confidence, and manipulate emotion in high-pressure environments. The MPE investor needs the same emotional radar. Negotiating with small business owners is often less about spreadsheets and more about psychology. Sellers are frequently attached to their businesses in deeply personal ways. They're not just selling assets, they're selling identity. The investor who can read emotion, who can tell when a seller's "I'll think about it" means "please make me an offer before I change my mind," has a major advantage. The robber knows how to talk their way through a tense standoff. The investor knows how to calm a nervous seller, reassure employees, and maintain investor confidence. And while bank robbers might use intimidation, micro-pay specialists, thankfully, rely on empathy and charm. But make no mistake, both are in the business of influence under stress. 6. Innovation and improvisation, thinking on one's feet. Even the best-laid heist goes wrong occasionally, a jammed lock, a mistimed alarm, or a guard returning early from lunch. The difference between a professional and a bungler lies in how they respond when the plan collapses. In micro-private equity, things go sideways all the time. A supplier folds. A key customer disappears. A new regulation makes the business model obsolete overnight. The ability to improvise, to pivot, reconfigure, and stay calm, is priceless. Bank robbers call it winging it. Investors call it strategic flexibility. Both mean the same thing, adapting faster than your environment collapses. The robber who can redirect the getaway car through a side alley is not unlike the investor who can turn a retail business into an online subscription model mid-pandemic. Improvisation, after all, is a form of intelligence that thrives in uncertainty. 7. Operational efficiency, every second counts. In the movies, the crew rehearses their heist with stopwatch precision. 3 minutes flat, the leader says. No heroics. They practice until the entire operation runs like a Swiss watch. In MPE, operational efficiency is the holy grail. The investor's mission, after acquiring a small business, is to make it run better, faster, leaner, more profitably. Every wasted process, every redundant staff role, every inefficiency is a second too long on the clock. Robbers understand the cost of delay. The longer you're inside the vault, the higher the chance of failure. Micro-private equity investors understand the same truth in cash flow form. The longer your capital is tied up unproductively, the smaller your returns. It's about ruthless prioritization. The robber focuses on the vault, not the vending machine. The MPE investor focuses on the metrics that move the needle: customer retention, cost of goods, recurring revenue. Everything else is noise. 8. The art of disguise, blending in to stand out. A good bank robber is a master of disguise. Whether it's fake mustaches, boiler suits, or delivery uniforms, the aim is to blend in while orchestrating something extraordinary. The MPE investor must do the same, albeit in a metaphorical sense. They need to blend into the small business ecosystem, earn trust, understand local markets, and present themselves not as Wall Street outsiders but as genuine partners. They often wear the disguise of the friendly buyer. They promise continuity, stability, and care for employees. This isn't deception, we hope, but it's still performance. In small-scale acquisitions, perception is half the deal. Like the robber walking calmly through the lobby, the investor must project calm, competence, and belonging. They cannot look like a corporate shark. They must look like the new custodian of a community institution. The best disguise of all is authenticity. 9. The getaway, exits and escapes. Every heist ends with the getaway. The most thrilling part isn't the robbery itself, it's getting out clean. The same applies to micro-private equity. The acquisition and turnaround are just preludes to the real trick, the exit. A skilled investor knows when to sell. Hold too long, and value erodes; exit too early, and you leave money on the table. Like a getaway driver who knows the perfect route out of town, the MPE operator must plan their exit routes before they even enter the deal. Will they sell to a strategic buyer? Merge with a competitor? Transition to employee ownership? The getaway plan defines the rhythm of the whole operation. Bank robbers know, it's not what you take, it's what you keep. In MPE, the same principle applies. Profits only matter once they are safely in your account, away from the chaos of the business battlefield. 10. Secrecy and discretion, the power of silence. Robbers know the value of silence. Loose talk sinks operations. Successful heists are defined by secrecy, confidentiality, and discipline. The first one to boast in the pub is the first one in handcuffs. Micro-private equity operates under similar discretion. Deals are often done quietly, off-market, through private introductions and word-of-mouth networks. Broadcasting intentions can spook sellers or invite competitors. Moreover, confidentiality is vital during the transition period after acquisition. Employees, customers, and suppliers must not panic. The investor must communicate just enough, but never too much. In both worlds, silence is golden, and discretion is profit. 11. Ethics, legality, and redemption, the fine line. At this point, it's worth acknowledging the obvious: robbing banks is illegal, while buying small ones, or their customers' businesses, is not. Yet both operate within moral frameworks that depend on perspective. The fictional robber often sees themselves as a kind of folk hero, a rebel against the faceless financial system. The micro-pay investor, meanwhile, may view themselves as a savior of struggling small businesses, even when their primary goal is profit. Both narratives contain a mix of self-justification and genuine purpose. But the key difference lies in legality, and in the fact that the modern micro-pay investor can channel all that daring, cunning, and creative problem-solving without breaking any laws. If anything, micro-private equity offers a path to redemption for the metaphorical bank robber in all of us, the part that thrills at risk, innovation, and audacity. It's capitalism with a conscience, and a calculator instead of a crowbar. 12 Lessons from the Vault, translating criminal skills into capital skills. To summarize the parallels, let's map the core competencies. Bank robber skill, micro-private equity equivalent. Meticulous planning, rigorous due diligence. Team coordination, deal team management. Risk appetite, entrepreneurial investment. Calm under pressure, crisis leadership. Reading people, negotiation psychology. Improvisation, strategic flexibility. Time discipline, operational efficiency. Disguise and deception, strategic positioning. Getaway strategy, exit planning. Silence, confidential deal execution. It's a humorous table, of course, but not entirely facetious. The overlap is real in psychological terms. Both pursuits reward nerve, creativity, and lateral thinking. The only real difference is that one ends in a Cayman account, the other in an actual prison. 13 The cult of the antihero, why the comparison resonates. There's another reason why this comparison is so appealing. Culturally, we're fascinated by the antihero. From Robin Hood to Danny Ocean, we romanticize figures who outsmart the system, even if they bend the rules. The micro-private equity investor is, in many ways, a legitimate antihero. They thrive in spaces the big players ignore. They find value in the unloved, the overlooked, the distressed. They're opportunists, but with a constructive twist. They rob inefficiency and redistribute opportunity. The modern investor's heist isn't stealing cash, it's stealing a march on corporate complacency. It's the same rebellious energy, channeled toward creation instead of destruction. 14 When cunning meets conscience, the moral of the metaphor. The charm of this analogy isn't in glorifying criminality but in recognizing the shared human traits that drive enterprise: curiosity, courage, calculation, and creativity. These traits can either break laws or make livelihoods, depending on how they're directed. Micro-private equity rewards precisely the same characteristics that once made the master thief formidable, only now they operate under the benevolent flag of capitalism. The robber's cunning becomes the investor's insight. The safecracker's patience becomes the analyst's diligence. The getaway driver's precision becomes the dealmaker's timing. It's a story of transformation, really, from outlaw to operator, from heist to harvest. 15 Conclusion, the legal heist of the century. So, what skills can bank robbers bring to micro-private equity? Almost all of them, minus the gun, the mask, and the moral hazard. In both worlds, success depends on meticulous preparation, trust in one's team, courage under fire, and an eye for the perfect opportunity. Both require the ability to read people, manage risk, and adapt to chaos. The difference lies only in purpose. One takes value by force, the other creates it by foresight. If the modern micro-pay investor can learn anything from the mythic bank robber, it's the importance of clarity, confidence, and timing. To know exactly when to move, when to hold, and when to disappear quietly with the spoils, though in this case, the spoils are dividends, not duffel bags. In the end, perhaps micro-private equity is the most sophisticated heist of all, a legitimate one, where the vault doors open willingly, the victims become partners, and everyone walks away richer. And unlike the cinematic robber, the MPE investor doesn't need a fast car waiting outside, just a good lawyer, a decent accountant, and nerves of absolute steel.